Manx Radio Sport.
A good evening and welcome once more to Friday Sport Preview on Manx Radio. I'm Rob Pritchard, here with you until 6:30pm to take a look at the sporting action across the Isle of Man this weekend to come. So, coming up tonight, St Mary's will be looking to continue their dream unbeaten start in the Premier League on Saturday as the latest Manx football fixtures beckon. In rugby, Vagabonds men's and ladies get their new season started on Saturday, whilst Douglas head off Ireland once more in search of their first win of their latest campaign. And in hockey, after an entertaining opening 2 weeks, the third instalment of league action in mixed Manx hockey is back this Saturday. That is all to come this evening. A very good evening and welcome to Friday Sport Preview once again on Manx Radio. We're going to start things off taking a look at the latest week in the Manx football season, and it feels only right at this point to bring him in once again in the gloomy weather. He's hightailed it up here to Broadcasting House. Good evening, Tony Mepham.
Good evening, Rob. Yeah, just looking out the window there at the weather, and it's just started to rain again, and the pitches this week have really taken a bit of a beating, but hopefully we're going to be fine. Full set of fixtures and some interesting ones coming up as well.
Indeed, and with the weather closing in, there's going to be a lot of groundsmen busy over the next few weeks and months, you'd imagine.
It certainly is, because when you look over the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of rain about, but that dry weather just before that, so hopefully it's gone away. But you know, the groundsmen are superb over here. There's so many good, talented guys who work on the pitches to get them ready for the players. And it's all down to marking. Last week we lost a couple of games because they couldn't get onto Markham because it was just too wet. But, you know, certainly tomorrow should be okay.
Well, let's take a look at the fixtures to come this weekend then. Once again, all games kicking off at 2:30pm with one exception, which we'll come to in just a moment. We'll start with the Canada Life Men's Premier League, 6 games this weekend. Let's start out in the Douglas area. Braddon, newly promoted Braddon. It's been a mixed start for them, and they're up against Ramsey.
Yeah, it is, and you know, you can't sort of knock them the performances. I watched them last week against Union Mills, and they really were second best. They didn't really create too many chances. Defensively, they looked a little bit too open. I know it was a good performance by Millers, but you know, Braddon just sort of showed that they're just a little bit too young at the moment, but it'll come good for them. The players there have got a lot of character, but Ramsey, what a fight back that was, one against Laxey, absolutely superb, and the standout, definitely, Dylan Pickle's a good player, and hopefully with the support around him, can get the ball through. He can finish, and it's just down to his attitude, because he knows he's good, but the ball's just got to get down to his feet. If he takes them on and uses the gifts that he's got, then certainly Ramsey are in a strong chance to push for the Premier League. And against Braddon, I only see Ramsey winning it.
And just to point out as well, Ramsey alongside Ayr United and St Mary's at this very early stage of the season, I should say, the only 3 teams undefeated so far in the Premier League.
Yeah, they are, and Ayr and Ramsey have had 3 weeks, so it's still one to play. But yeah, it's certainly a good start by all 3 teams.
Long way to go. Let's take a look at Glen Crutchley Road then. St George's. Questions about how their season might go. Of course, only just about getting a team together this season, but it's had some positives, certainly, and they're coming up against Union Mills this weekend. Yeah,
and scoring goals is key, isn't it, to win any game of football? And certainly Kieran McNulty's been banging form, hasn't he? He's been tremendous in front of goal, and I think Johnny Myers will be happy enough the way it's gone. Seeing the team shirt, it's pretty strong, but Union Mills, great performance last week, certainly in the second half, showed a lot of strength, and they've got goals all over the place, so I can only see Paul Guyver's team sort of having a good go at St George's. Depends what players they've got out there. Chris Bass, I still think's got a little bit to go before he's back in, but once you have people like Johnny Myers, Sean Quay, I know Johnny's not been playing so much, but Sean Quay in there, it does help. But Union Mills, they are a good little side. Seen that last week. I'm going to go for Mills to win.
OK, well, let's go from Glen Crutchley Road over to Bala Fletcher and Corinthians taking on Moran.
Yeah, Corinthians disappointed, dropped points against Douglas Royal. But again, it just depends what sort of team that they've got out. Players available now to university. There's 1 or 2 sort of gone back, which will make it more difficult for Ben Qualtrough. But he's still got other players there. Nathan Robinson has gone, I think, to Chesterfield on a 2-year contract. So they've lost one of the star 16-year-olds coming through. But there's still enough experience in there. Stewie Smith, Darren Kane at the back. Adam Killiers in goals once again. And Moran have just got to show the sort of spirit that they showed apart from the first game of the season, the other games, and they might get something out of this one. It's always a close battle. It's up at Ballafletcher. Pitch is in good order, but I'll go for Corinthians to take the points.
Very well, and then we take a look at the early kick-off at the Bowl tomorrow. 1:45pm kick-off this. St Mary's, unbeaten, newly promoted and top of the table after their opening 3 games. They're taking on a Douglas Royal side who, whilst they haven't picked up the points, they've certainly been finding the back of the net, Tony.
Yeah, it's a bit of a deja vu, isn't it? It's a bit like St John's last season after they got promoted and they were up at the top of the table for the first half of the season. But again, they've been playing really well. I watched them in the first game where they won, and that was against Braddon, I think it was. And here they are against Douglas Royal, another young side. And Douglas Royal battled well last week against Corinthians and deserved the point that they got out of it. But St Mary's, I think it's controlled the way they're playing at the moment. Sometimes St Mary's can get a little bit carried away, but they're not. They're on a mission. I'm going to go for St Mary's to win.
Well, 2 other games in the Canada Life Men's Premier League tomorrow. One of those is up in the north of the island. Ayr United, dark horses amongst some to be challenging for the title this year, up against the defending champions Peel.
Yeah, and you can see why. And again, Chris Duggan's been good for them, but Nick Hurt's not been playing, so you've always got him to bring in, which makes them a lot stronger. I would have loved to have watched this game, but obviously Rob we can't get back for the classified, so we'll miss out on this one because this is going to be a super battle. Peel have already showed that they're a little bit vulnerable at times, and we've seen that. But Ayr United really do feel that they can win this league this year, and with Laxey dropping points, it gives them an opportunity. Going to go for Ayr to beat Peel.
And the other game, the Canada Life Men's Premier League, the 2 sides currently occupying the 2 bottom spaces in the table at this very early stage. Again, we must caveat, but tough starts for St John's United, and they'll be at home to fellow strugglers in this early stage, Russian United. Yeah,
tough start for Russian as well, but I think Sam Brown, the manager of St John's, can sit back and relax tonight and just pull a collar away from his neck, because I think he was getting a little bit agitated. But tomorrow, Dean Lease will play for St John's, and also Callum Taggart will play. You've got 2 out-and-out goal scorers, so that'll help things. I just wonder defensively, Sam Ingham's been struggling with an injury. You've also got Will Penn-Ulrich as well, who's struggling a little bit. That won't help matters. Russian picked up a little bit. Still going to be a tough game. Going to go for a draw.
We've got a couple more minutes to take a look through the rest of the divisions. 5 games in DPS Limited Division 2 this weekend, including a rather tasty-looking Southern derby. Yeah,
they always are tasty, aren't they? But Malou sort of struggled a little bit last week. I think it was against Governors. So I've got to go for Gary Sansbury's team to win it. They've got so many good players up front. Castown to win.
And we've also got Colby versus Pulrose, Michael versus Douglas High School Old Boys, Governors Athletic versus Gyms at Colby, and Foxdale versus Ramsey Youth Centre Old Boys.
Colby and Pulrose, I'd like a text message off Dickie Gale if he could. When was the last time Colby were top of Division 2? Because they're going well at the moment. Played 3-1-3 against Pulrose. I expect them to win in that. Michael against Old Boys is going to be a really good battle. I think Michael know that they've got good players there, can get goals. Liam Kane won, but Old Boys expected, they thought, to sort of do all right in this league, but at the moment struggling a bit. Go for Michael to win. Governors, good performance against Gyms. I'm going to go for Governors to win this. And excuse me, Foxdale against Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys. I just think Foxdale will be too strong for them.
Very well, let's move into the Combination League, starting off with the 5 games in Canada Life Combination 1 tomorrow.
Ramsey against Braddon. Ramsey, like the first team, I've got some really good young players in there, so I'm going to go for Ramsey to beat Braddon. Moran against Corinthians. Corinthians, again, have shown promise in the game so far, so I'll go for Corinthians. Douglas Royal against St Mary's. St Mary's top and absolutely flying. Go for St Mary's to win. Peel against Ayr United. Another good battle, just like the first team, but I just got a feeling that Ayr might be a little bit too strong for Peel. And Russian against St John's. It's all sort of gone a bit wayward, hasn't it, for Russian after last season. They've lost 2 already this year, but I think tomorrow they'll win and take the points away from St John's.
And last but certainly not least, we have 5 games in DPS Limited Combination 2.
And Malou against Castletown. I'm going to go for Castletown to win that. In the other 4 games, Douglas and District against Douglas Athletic. I think Douglas Athletic will be too strong for them. Douglas High School Old Boys against Michael. I'm going to go for Old Boys to win. Gyms against Governors Athletic. I know Gyms have shifted quite a few goals so far this year, but I'll go for Gyms to win. And Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys against Foxdale. Depends if the first team have taken 1 or 2 of the players, but I'll go for Ramsey Youth Centre to win.
Those are your fixtures for Saturday. Let's quickly take a look into Sunday then. We have 3 games scheduled for the Canada Life Women's Football kicking off at 2 p.m. on Sunday and 2 games in the Masters Football.
Well, let's have a look at the women's first. 2 top teams from last season play against each other at Peel. I'm going to go for Corinthians to win that one. Probably no surprise in your eyes on that one, Rob. Onken against Douglas Royal. There you're probably your 2 next best sides looking at it from last year. I've got to go for Douglas Royal. I think they've strengthened a little bit. And Malou against Castletown. I thought Castletown's result 7 days ago or 8 days ago against Peel was really good, only losing out 5-0. Malou will win it though, I think. And in the Masters, Governors Athletic against Union Mills. Union Mills reformed again. I think they'll be too strong for Governors. And Colby against Onken, another mega clash in this Masters Football League. And I'm going to go for Onken, possibly just to sneak it, but I haven't seen Colby's team, so it might go the other way. Tough one. I'm going to go for Onken just.
Well, plenty to look forward to on Saturday and Sunday. Tony, thank you very much as always. We'll be catching up with you on Saturday Sport Classified tomorrow.
Manx Radio Sport.
Well, Saturday is another busy day for the early stages of the Manx rugby season, with 2 more teams beginning their respective journeys for the new campaigns. Vagabonds have both their men's and women's teams taking part in their season openers across the water. Douglas are also heading away in the quest for their first win of the new Regional 2 Northwest calendar. Here with the details is our rugby man, Dave Christian.
Douglas, they're away at Vale of Loon. Vale of Loon is a Lancaster-based club. Douglas not had the best of starts, but also, I guess, they've not had the worst of starts either. They've played 3, lost 3, but each game has been lost by a margin of 1 score or less, which means Douglas have picked up 3 losing bonus points. Vale of Loon have had a worse start to the season. They've played 3, lost 3, but don't have any points at all on the bottom of the table. So Douglas are going to head there with a little bit of a spring in the step, a little bit of optimism maybe. There were some changes to the squad last week, and they're going to continue this week. Simon Hoddenott, you see he's not in the team listed. Rob Todd is going to continue to deputise in at the loosehead prop. Blake Snell will take over the captaincy. The other player they're missing, Kyle Martin, he's got a wrist injury he picked up a couple of weeks ago against Liverpool St Helens. So Luke Hyland's going to step in to scrum half, which means that Lucas Simmons will start at 10. Better news for Douglas, I guess, team-wise, is Brett Pike, the new Kiwi. He returns to the side. He's going to start at centre. Coach Phil Kringle has to name himself on the bench again. So Douglas will be hoping for 4 points or 5. Vale of Loon, obviously, they're going to want to get off the bottom of the table as well. So it's a little bit of a dogfight. I'm not going to call it a relegation dogfight because we're far too early in the season for that. And if Douglas get those missing players back, the likes of Simon Hoddenott and Kyle Martin, I'm sure their fortunes will improve. But fingers crossed for them. We're away at Vale of Loon. They've been there and won before. They can go there and win again, and hopefully that will be tomorrow. Vagabonds haven't had any league matches so far. They're playing in Counties ADM Division 4, and their league is a little bit smaller than Douglas's. I think there's only 9 teams in Vagabonds League, so that means the fixture window for playing all those matches is a little bit shorter, so they didn't need to start quite as early as Douglas. They travel away to Ellesmere Port. Ellesmere Port, long association with the Isle of Man, been here many times. They were in Vagabonds League last season. Vagabonds team, Matt Rockwell leads from the front as he always does, inspirational leader. The squad, it could be a little bit stronger. I think they're missing Mark Oldfield off the team sheet, and there's a couple of new names in there as well on the bench. We've got Ruan Erasmus. We also have Rhys McAllister at fullback. That's a name I'm not familiar with. But by and large, pretty much it's the same as it was last season. No big movement up there at Vagabonds. I guess the only swap around we're going to see is Will Taylor's going to go into the number 9 jersey, and Daniel Bomwick will vice-captain aside from the number 10 jersey. I think Vagabonds have got this team there that will do some damage at this level. Whether or not it's going to be good enough to beat Port, not so certain of that. But fingers crossed for them. If they can get the season off with a great away win, they've got a reasonable chance of bouncing back up to Counties 3 ADM next season. And the final league match of the weekend is Vagabonds Ladies. We've heard them on the interviewed with Rob this week with Jack Kane in there, explaining how the club is developing and been working hard over the summer. And I've been following their social media profile over the summer as well. They've been doing some extraordinary things up there at Bella Fletcher. Vagabonds ladies go away to Chester Divas. It's their first game of the season. It's Chester's first game as well. Last season it was really tight in this women's NC1 Northwest. Southport and Halifax were the two top teams. They disappeared off into the ether, promoted. But below those two at the top, the next three teams were separated by 5 points, and Chester and Vagabonds were in that group. Chester had beaten Vagabonds twice, home and away, but only by very, very narrow margins. Missing a couple of players, as always. Rugby World Cup's interfering with things quite a bit. Natalie Bush not there, so the front row will be Jessica Swales, Ella Goodwin and Maisie Murray. Corinna Daly, the number 8, she retired last season. Sophie Henry, though, was amazing last season. Carried a tremendous amount of ball and really drove it hard into contact. And I think Sophie Henry is an ideal replacement at 8. We've got old favourites, so Sammy McDonald's in there at scrum half. Chloe Dillon starts on the wing. Rebecca Dunn and Leona McGovern, the two new captains, co-captains this season. Leona McGovern going to have a run at 10 in the absence of Lauren Ellison. So some changes there to last season's sides. We don't really know how Vagabonds ladies are going to go, nor do we know how Chester will go. But with the closeness of the games last season, Vagabonds have got a great chance of some points here.
Dave Christian with that report. And what's more, best of luck to former Manx resident and rugby star Bevan Rodd, who's set to make his first Rugby World Cup start for England on Saturday. The Sale Sharks man is in the starting lineup to face Chile at 4:45pm UK time tomorrow.
Manx Radio Sport.
And finally tonight, Week 3 beckons for the mixed Manx hockey season during Saturday morning and afternoon. And as the trends begin to emerge at the top and bottom of the respective divisions, the entertaining ties just keep on coming. Among the picks this weekend, there's an interclub derby in the Premier League and a top-of-the-table face-off in Division 1. To find out the details, I caught up as ever this week with our hockey correspondent, Ben Cunningham. Let's take a look then at the latest fixtures in the mixed Premier League. 4 games, all pushing back at 2:05. Let's start up in the north of the island and at Ramsey Grammar School. This could be a potentially interesting tie. Ramsey A up against Harlequins A, Ben.
Yeah, both these teams looking for their first wins of the season, and this game could be quite crucial come later in the season. I think this one will be a close game, and this is a game we're going to cover for Saturday Live. So hopefully it'll have a very entertaining game, but I think Harlequins might just get it.
Down at Castle Rushen High School, also at 2:05. Castletown Celts up against Backers B.
Yeah, Castletown Celts had a good win last week following their first week defeat against Falkires A. Backers B, though, they'll be hoping that they could maybe give Castletown Celts a challenge, but I think Castletown Celts will be too strong for them on the day.
We also have an interclub derby in the mixed Premier League this week, and it is at the NSC at 2:05, Vikings B against Vikings A.
Yeah, close game ahead, but you'd have to favour the A team to come out on top over the B team, but then we saw it last week, a B team beat a A team last week, so who knows?
And then also rounding off the Premier League over at King William's College at 2:05, it is the defending champions Backers A up against a Valkyries A side who got a good result themselves last week.
Yeah, definitely, and Valkyries have been proving themselves so far this season. I know they have had a good recruitment drive over the summer. Valkyries are looking really good this season, but I think Backers A, though, you'd have to favour them. They've been very good so far and very clinical. 9 goals in both their first and second games this season. You'd have to favour Backers A, but who knows, Valkyries might give them a test.
On to Mixed Division 1, 3 games there this weekend, including a potentially very exciting tie over at QE2.
12:35 at the NSC, we have Valkyries C against Vikings C. Vikings C still looking for their first win of the season. Valkyries C, though, had a great win last week, so I'm going to go for a Valkyries C win there. Again at 12:35, but this time at King William's College, we have Backers C against Castletown Camags. Another close game on paper. It might just be 1 goal between the two of them. And then the big game, like you're saying, at 2:05 at QE2. First v second in the league so far, Valkyries B against Castletown Southerns. This one will be a close game. These two have had a great start. They're both level at the top. It's just goal difference that splits the two of them. And I think I'm going to be brave here. I think Castown Southerners are going to get it.
And then 3 games as well in mixed Division 2.
Yeah, and the first one, again, it's another derby between Vikings E and Vikings D, and this is at 11:05 at the NSC. Again, interclub derby, you'd favour the higher team to come out on top on that one. 11:05 again at Castle Rushen. We have Castletown Cushags against Backers Colts. That one I think will be a good game, very close, and probably just a goal between them. But then Backers Colts proved me wrong last week and got a commanding win over Vikings East. And then the final game is at 12:35 at QE2, and that's Valkyries D against Ramsey Ravens. I'm going to say possibly a Valkyries D win here, but Ramsey might prove me wrong.
Rounding off the senior leagues is mixed Division 3, and 3 games there.
3 games that really look really interesting in this league, and the first one is at 12:35, and it's Castown Carags against Backers D at Castle Rushen High School. Backers D really have proven themselves this year, and although they're classed as a fun, friendly veterans team who normally go to the pub after their game, they've been getting the results. So I think they could prove a challenge for Castown Carags in this game. We have at 3:35 at QE2, we have Harlequins B against Castown Cosney. Harlequins C only just got the win last week against Castown Cosney 5-4. So can their B team do the same this weekend? We wait to see. And then the final game in this league at 12:35 is at Ramsey Grammar School, and this is Ramsey Rookies against Harlequins C. Harlequins C got their first win of the season last week, so they'll be on a high, but Ramsey Rookies were held by Backers D last week, so who knows what could happen.
And last but certainly not least, we have 4 games in the mixed under-15s.
First one in this league is at 11:05 at QE2, and it's Valkyries against Castown Savers. Then the rest of the games all kick off at 3:35. Castle Rushen High School is Ramsey Rogues and Rascals against Castletown Sharks. Valkyries against Backers Under 15s B at the NSC. And then Harlequins against Backers Under 15s A at Ramsey Grammar School.
Ben Cunningham with that report there. And finally tonight, just to give you a bit of a flavour of some of the other sporting things going on today and over the weekend. A mention for the Special Olympics Isle of Man squad, who are wrapping up their latest adventure today, this evening, I should say, in Gibraltar. They've been competing in the annual Gibraltar National Games and already secured a flurry of medals in the likes of athletics, football and bocce. That began back on the 20th, so 2 days ago, and things going to be wrapping up this evening. So well done to the Special Olympics Isle of Man team. Also coming up this weekend, motorsport, off-road motorsport to be precise. The 2023 Circuit of Man is taking place up in the north of the island tomorrow and Sunday, and that all comes only 7 days after the Isle of Man saw 3 new British champions coming back to Manx shores. Jed Etchells was crowned 2023 British Enduro Championship champion following the final round of this year's series in Yorkshire last weekend. He wasn't the only winner, though, in the championship series. Daniel McCanny, his fellow Manxman, took second place, so a Manx 1-2 in that series. A great result there. The other British champions crowned over that particular weekend. Another of those was Mark Turner, who secured the title of Expert British Enduro Champion, bagging 141 points over the course of the campaign. And that wasn't all, as the Isle of Man's Robert Moyer took home the Clubman Championship title as well. So plenty of off-road motorsports action on the Isle of Man to come this weekend after some great success for the Manx riders 7 days ago. That's all we have time for this evening. Many thanks to my guests this week, Tony Mepham, Dave Christian and Ben Cunningham. Have yourself a wonderful Friday evening, and as always, have a wonderful weekend. Mike Reynolds is here with you next, but from me until next time, it's bye for now.
Manx Radio.